Good day, guys. Welcome to the ancient city of Badagry. Today, we're in the first story building in Nigeria, built in 1845. But before Mr. Ezekiel shows us around the building, guys, please do not forget to subscribe to Mr. Odion Movies and follow us on all our social media platforms. Mr. Ezekiel, please.
So my name is Mr. Ezekiel Soteje Viabon. I work for the Daos of Badagry Anglican Communion. I'm in charge to take you around and to show you things that we have inside of the story building. Thank you very much. Let's go.
So we're on the entrance. So Mr. Ezekiel here is going to take us round the building. I can't wait. I'm so happy, guys.
Let's go inside.
Yes. Wow.
Now we're inside of the story building built in 1845 and built by the missionaries. The story building built by the CMS missionary in 1843, but they later changed the construction of the building was built in 1843. It later changed to the one built now in 1845, because that is why we have the two pictures of the story building. We have the one with wood and we have the one with bricks. We are inside of the one with bricks today, and those bricks and those materials were all brought from England. First of all, Badagry was founded in 1425,
Yes.
but missionary arrived Badagry in 1842. But before the missionary came to Badagry, slavery was going on in Badagry. The slave trade started in Badagry in 1502, when Portuguese, Brazilian, Germans, Americans, they are all settling Badagry and taking people as slaves from here to their countries. But the missionary came through the route where those Portuguese were taking their slave out. They came to those through the route, entered Badagry, and they're preaching the gospel in Badagry. So now they started preaching the gospel in Badagry in 1842 under the tree called the Agia tree. I'm still going to take you around and to see the historical Agia tree. But let's see the materials first. And this is the material. It's called the burnt brick since 1842. And we have this called the engine since 1842. And we have thickness of those nails since 1842. Then we have this roofing sheet, and it's called iron corrugated sheet since 1842. And you can see the material. Material is very strong,
So hard.
and so very strong and different to the one that we actually made now in Nigeria. So now we have the geographical map that shows the building were built in this compound. The building were built around this place. It shows us the building were built in this compound and show us the building around Badagry as at 1843. Now we have houses, 10 buildings were built in this compound, but out of 10 buildings, only one standing. So that is the one, the story building was built in 1845, standing since 1845. The building is 177 years old.
177 years, guys.
This is the inside, the sitting room for the missionary. And we saw the painting of a tree called the Agia tree. Under this tree, Christianity was first proclaimed in Nigeria in September 1842. And the first Christmas was first celebrated in December 1842. That when gospel started, it started under this tree. When Christmas celebrated, Christmas was first celebrated under the tree in Badagry 1842. The tree is no more standing, but the tree fell in Badagry on the 20th June 1959. And the tree stand for 350 years before this very tree fell in Badagry. So at this point of this tree, this is the monument did there to replace the falling of the tree in Badagry, and that's what we're going to see there as a monument of the tree. We have Reverend Thomas Birch Freeman, was the first Reverend missionary that first preached under the tree, and we have Reverend Henry Townsend, the second missionary Reverend that preached under the tree. But both of them meet together and celebrated the first Christmas together in December 1842, and that is the monument date to replace the tree. So now we have name of the Reverend missionary that built the story building in 1845. Reverend C.A. Goman building his house in 1845. And this is the picture of the Christmas was celebrated in Badagry 1923, and it's been written on the chest of those people. And they wrote 1923, Badagry Merry Christmas was written on the chest of those people. That celebration of Christmas was taking place in Badagry 1923. So they used people like slaves to celebrate the Christmas that year, 1923. Now, we are going to the room of the first Western teacher. The room of the first Western teacher. That's Mr. Claudius Phillips. And this is a picture of the Mr. Claudius Phillips. He's the first Western teacher. The school was established in 1845, and the school named St. Thomas Primary School. This picture of the school, and the school is standing, named St. Thomas Primary School. The school was established in 1845, but with 40 men as students that started primary school, not women and not children. But those 40 men that we're talking about, each one of them, before they started reading and writing, each one of them spent 12 years in primary school. Wow. And that's the room of the teacher that teaches us how to read and how to write. Now we are going up to see the room of a man called Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowder. That is the man who translated the English Bible into Yoruba Bible. But the missionary also came out with the total amount of the money was used to build his house is 325 pounds. His total amount of the money was used to build his house, and quoted by the man who built the story building, that's Reverend Goman. And they also bring the list of those houses were built in this compound, but those houses no more. But only one standing to date, and that's the one called the Mission House. That's number 2, named as the first story building in Nigeria today. Now we are taking this staircase, we're going up and to see the room of a man called Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowder. Go with me. Now we're in the room of a man called Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowder, a man who translated the English Bible into Yoruba Bible. A man called Ajayi is from Oyo State, from a village in Oyo State called Oshogun Village in the Seyin local government. This man Ajayi, born in 1809, but 1821, age of 12 years of a man called Ajayi, he was captured as a slave in Oyo and sold to Badagry. But the man told us that when he was captured as a slave in Oyo, that there is no means of the transportation to take them from Oyo down to Badagry, down to Lagos. That all of them walked from Oyo down to Badagry, to Lagos. And so Ajayi was sold to Portuguese in Badagry. And when the ship of the Portuguese left Badagry, taking them to Portugal, the British Navy stopped them and freed all those slaves inside of the ship. All of them were free to Freetown in Sierra Leone. Ajayi worked in Freetown in Sierra Leone. He trained by the missionary and trained by a man called Crowder. This is the man who trained Ajayi. So his slave have to bear what? His master's name. So his master baptized Ajayi and given Ajayi a name called Samuel. Ajayi attended this school and he graduated this school and was sent to school of theology in England and become a priest. When the man became a priest, the missionary returned him back to Nigeria because they will need the help of the man, because they believe that the man can help them to spread the gospel in his own land, motherland. And so that is the Nigeria, Yoruba land. So because when they are preaching gospel to our people, Ajayi is the only man doing the work of interpreter and later translated the English Bible into Yoruba in 1845. And that's the Bible we're talking about today. The Bible is 177 years. I'm talking about the Yoruba Bible. But the English Bible is 180 years. Yeah. And that is the Yoruba Bible was brought by this white missionary to Badagry. So Ajayi later was ordained as a bishop in 1861. When he was ordained as bishop, and this young man worked with him as a chaplain, but the young man later became the in-law to Ajayi. So the in-law to Ajayi, his name called Reverend Babinti Macaulay. He married the daughter of Ajayi, and daughter of Ajayi gave birth to a man called Abat Macaulay. Abat Macaulay on 100 coins is a grandson to Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowder. So we're moving to the next. Now on the side of this room, missionary came out with the names of those people that first preaching the gospel. We have Reverend Thomas Bache Freeman, Reverend Henry Townsend, and Reverend C.A. Goman. These are two people that first started preaching gospel under the tree and celebrated Christmas under the tree. But this is man who built the story building in 1845. And that man also witnessed the signing of the abolition of the slave trade in Badagry in March 1852. That's the first abolition of slave trade. So this is the pictures of the man called Reverend C.A. Goman that built the story building in 1845. That also witnessed the signing of the abolition of the slave trade in Badagry in March 1852. That's first abolition of slave trade in Badagry. And that is the role the missionary played for the abolition of slave trade. And that is the name of the man who also witnessed Reverend C.A. Goman and Reverend J. Martins. And so these are people that signed with the missionary in Mewu, Alapa, Sombodi, and Wow. Those people signed letter with missionary for the abolition of slave trade in Badagry in March 1852. Now we are moving to the last rooms inside of this story building. Because don't forget, we have 6 bedrooms inside of this building, 2 sitting rooms inside of this building, and 4 store, but no toilet inside of the building, no kitchen, no bedroom. Because kitchen, toilet, and bedroom were built outside. So that's all the building I'm showing you in the map. It shows us the building of the kitchen and the toilet and bedrooms were built in this compound, but those buildings no more. So we're saying the chair here, chair since 1915. The chair is now 107 years old chair. We also see the picture of the church that had been collapsed. The church was built in 1843 and the church collapsed in 1911. And then we also see the picture of the front view of the story building was built in 1845. That is the story building. Still standing is 177 years old building today. Now, this is the picture of the cemetery where all the missionary buried. Numbers of missionary died and buried in Badagry is 240 of those missionaries. Now, let's see the first saving bank. So the saving bank was established in 1856. That's where they kept their money and some of the valuable items. Let me open it and show you the money that we have inside of the safes. And you can see. So you can see the money that we have inside of the safes. We have some olden days money. We have cowries, shell, and we have shilling, and we have penny, we have pounds. We also have some note money here, so which is olden days note money and the present money that we are not spending anymore in Nigeria, in Africa. So these are the money that we spend, cowries money that we spent before there, and the cowries.
Can you see the pounds?
So the pounds is there. So this is the pounds. And this is the shilling, and this is the penny, and this is the half penny. So, and these are cowries. Those money it was spent before, and before we changed to naira and kobo, 1973. Before we started spending note money today, and you can see those note money, olden days note money, and that money is not in circulation. That's what we have inside of the building. But don't forget, we have things to show you outside. Please. Let's go. Now this is the well dug by the missionary in 1842, and the well it have never run dry and it have never changed color since 1842. Every other well water dry in Badagry and changed color in Badagry, but this is the only well water that is clean, tasteless, odorless, and colorless, and that's the water that people in Badagry make use of the water. It's so clean and tasteless in Badagry. And let's see the color of the water. The water is so clean and tasteless, and that's where water is at. You can see the color of the water. You can feel the water in your hands. Feel the water in your hands. That's water that you all drink. It's so very clean and tasteless in Badagry. People name it miracle water because a lot of people were being taking this well water at home, because the story they heard about the well water that it has never run dry, it has never changed color. People take the water at home, they pray on this water, and God answer their prayers. So they name this well water miracle water. So I believe, as you say the water, as you touch the water today, I believe God is going to do
miracle in your life. So you are blessed.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for paying the visit to First Story Building in Nigeria.
Yes.
Don't forget, my name is Mr.
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel Soteji. Yeah. So I'm the creator in charge of this story building. I work for the Diocese of Badagry, Anglican Communion Church of Nigeria, as a creator in charge of the story building. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys. I don't even know what to say. I'm just overwhelmed of, I'm just so happy to be here, guys. Guys. Thank you. Please make sure you subscribe to my Odeon TV or movies. Guys, next week I'm going to take you to the museum and you see the charcoals which were used for slave trade. Oh, thank you for the tour, Mr. Ezekiel. Well, we really appreciate it and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.